Greetings and welcome. You're invited to join our very talented actors for the stage play reading of the Clothesline Diaries, a play about neighborly bonds in uncertain times. You will peer into the lives of two middle-aged women who are neighbors in adjacent city tenement buildings, separated by bricks, but united by a clothesline stretched across their windows. It's the height of the COVID pandemic, and these women find connection and comfort in daily conversations and gossip, sharing stories of their past, hopes for the future, and the chaos of the pandemic. As their clothes flutter in the breeze on their shared clothesline, expect laughter, tears, and even a touch of unlikely matchmaking unfolding across their shared line of friendship. A friendship filled with comedy, tragedy, and heartfelt moments. Please enjoy the performance.
Good morning, Celia. How are you feeling today?
Oh, better, thanks. I don't have a fever, and I'm not coughing, but my appetite is still lousy, and I'm very tired.
You have to eat something. You know, it helps your immune system so you can fight the virus.
Nothing tastes good to me.
Well, you have to force yourself. I'm making some minestrone soup, and I'll send you over a thermos full. Eat it, even if you don't like it. Think of it as medicine, okay?
Okay.
Have you made any of those masks yet?
Oh, yeah. What do you think?
Oh, well, certainly different than any other hospital mask I've ever seen.
Well, what about as part of our costume for a masquerade party?
Now you're talking. They would be perfect for that, but also for COVID, because I'm sure they would scare the virus away. So keep making them. I'll hand them out. Oh, masks are very hard to find anywhere. Like everything else, everyone is sold out. But I got good news. I was able to get us some gloves.
From where?
I got them from Sheila. You know her. She lives across the street over the bakery. She's also a nurse, and I know she's a history buff, so I made a deal with her.
What kind of deal?
Well, because of the COVID precautions, the public library is closed. And Sheila told me she had nothing good to read. Well, I know we had a couple of excellent historical novels in the school library, which I was sure she would enjoy. And I told her I would go to the school, bring her the books, if she would keep giving us a supply of these disposable gloves.
That's great. Now we're pretty much set.
Yep. Now, when I was at school, I thought of something else.
What?
Well, I think it was because I was in the history section of the library that it hit me.
What hit ya?
This pandemic is truly a historic milestone. People are going to be reading about it and discussing it for years. You and I, we are witnesses to it. So, we have an obligation.
What are you talking about?
We have to share our experiences. So in the future, people will know what it was like to live through COVID.
How can we do that?
This is how.
What's that?
It's a diary.
Whose?
They're going to be ours.
Ours?
Yes, ours. Haven't you ever kept a diary?
No. Have you?
Yes. I started writing a diary when I was a young girl. Oh, in those days, I was pretty much a loner. And one day, my favorite aunt brought me these 3 diary books. She told me that a diary was like having a special friend to whom you could tell everything, no matter how secret, without ever worrying.
And you filled 3 books?
No. I stopped when I got to college because I had a wonderful roommate, Julia. Oh, she and I became such close friends, and we shared all our experiences.
Oh, and she took the place of your diary friend.
That's right. I stopped making the entries into the diary, well, when I started working at the school, 18 years ago?
Why then? You had plenty of people around you. You couldn't have been lonely.
No, I wasn't lonely, but that's not the only reason you keep a diary. Sometimes something very personal happens that you never expected, and the diary becomes that friend that you can share it with.
Well, nothing like that personal has ever happened to me for a long time, so I got nothing to tell.
It doesn't have to be personal. It can be a historical document, too. In fact, that's why I sent it over to you. Take a look in the basket.
Oh, see here. Gosh. I'm telling you, it's a waste of time. There's nothing in my life that's so important it's worth writing about.
Are you kidding? This pandemic, people are going to be asking questions about it for years to come. And you and I, are living it.
Yeah, and we might be dying from it too, if we're not careful. You know, Dante died from it.
Dante? I'm not talking ancient history. It's the COVID virus, not the plague I'm talking about.
Not that Dante. I'm talking about the chef at Angela's.
Oh, him. That's too bad. He was a nice man, but he was a terrible chef. His sauce, always gave me such heartburn.
Oh, I know it, and I kept telling him, you put too much garlic.
Yeah.
That's what causes the agita. Oh, but God bless his soul, he wouldn't listen.
You know who else?
Who else what? Makes lousy sauce?
No, who died?
No, who?
Jimmy, the barber.
He was in a nursing home.
I heard. They say it's loaded with the virus in there.
Oh, poor Jimmy. I used to go with him before I met Roger. In fact, I met Roger in Jimmy's barber shop.
So that's how you met Roger? Yeah. Such a handsome man. Oh, it must have been love at first sight.
Yeah, not quite. In fact, I almost got him killed.
Killed? How?
Jimmy was shaving Roger, with a straight razor, and it was a hot summer day, and the door was open. So I walked into the barber shop. Jimmy's back, was towards me, and, just trying to be funny. I quietly snuck up and tickled him, and then I heard Roger scream.
Oh, my God.
There was blood everywhere. Roger was screaming, Jimmy was screaming, and I fainted.
Well, that was some introduction. So what happened?
Well, I quickly got to my feet, but by that time, Jimmy was holding a towel over the cut on Roger's neck. It was a deep cut, and it needed stitches. So I drove him to the emergency room, and I stayed with him till the doctor sutured him. We were both so frightened. I held his hand, and I tried to calm him down.
So that's how he got that scar.
Yeah, but it's under his collar. How did you see it?
I forget. I think it was one afternoon when he came to pick up your nephew Johnny when he got sick at school, and then take him to your place because your sister couldn't get out of work.
You must have been pretty close to Roger to see it.
Yes, I helped him put Johnny in the back seat of the car. It was a hot day, and Roger was wearing a T-shirt. I remember I commented on it to him because it was very close to the artery. It's a miracle he didn't bleed to death.
That's what I was afraid of. The doctor said he lost a lot of blood. I was living alone at the time, and so was he. I felt so guilty. I insisted he stay with me till he got his strength back.
Well, how long did that take?
Longer than either of us expected.
What did Jimmy say about that arrangement? I mean, you said you were dating him.
Oh, Jimmy felt guilty, so he went along with it. In fact, after a couple of days when he knew Roger was doing good, Jimmy told me a story to make Roger laugh. And it did.
Well, what was it?
Well, Jimmy bought the barbershop from old Tony Terramina. Tony, who was a crotchety old bastard, told him that one day when he was shaving the head, of one of his clients, he cut off this lump that was growing on the guy's head. And it started to bleed bad. So Tony put a towel on it, and told the guy he had to go to the emergency room and get some stitches. So the guy starts leaving, and as he starts to go out the door, Tony yells to the guy to pay him the $10 for the haircut.
You gotta be kidding.
No, that's not all. A couple of days later, this guy is walking past the barbershop. Tony opens the door and yells to the guy, "Where's my towel?"
That is classic. How did Roger react when you told him that story? Oh, I bet he laughed. Oh, he had such a great sense of humor. I mean, because you do.
Oh, he broke up.
That reminds me of something funny. Kind of like that, and it happened to me when I was in nursing school.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, most of the girls were broke, and when we were going to school, and there was a hairdressing school right across the street from us where we could go and get our hair done by the students, and they would only charge us like 50 cents. Turned out that one of the girls in my study team was very well off, and she had a real attitude. Well, she only went to high-class stylists. But one time, when I told her I was going across the street to get my hair done, she said, well, she'd come along and she'd wait for me. Well, while she was sitting there, and because the place was empty, she decided to get a little, touch-up. So we sat in the chair next to me. We're both reading our course book, and, because we had a final coming up, all of a sudden, I hear her scream. I look up, and her hair's on fire.
Oh, my God!
The student had panicked, and then she poured water all over her, and the commotion caused the owner of the school to come out. She walked around my classmate a few times, shook her head, and said, well, there'll be no charge for that.
That's even funnier than my Jimmy story. But did your classmate suffer any burns?
Only to her pride.
She is lucky. Burn scars are ugly. But but wait a minute. Speaking of scars, I can't believe you remembered Roger's scar.
It's because I put it in my diary.
Why did you do that?
Because of what he told me when I asked him how he got it.
Oh, well, what did he say?
He said it was from Cupid's arrow. Of course, I asked him what he meant by that, and he said he fell in love because of the cut. But we were so concerned about getting your nephew Johnny to your place, well, the conversation ended there.
I'm not surprised. Roger loved Johnny. He treated him like the son that we lost. That was 16 years ago. And I couldn't talk about it till recently because I felt so guilty.
Guilty? For what?
The boy died of some congenital thing that the doctor said I gave him. They said that I had something in my blood, some gene that gave the baby a bad heart and lungs. He only lived for a year. But in a way, that was too long. As cruel as it sounds, maybe it would have been better if he died right away.
What do you mean?
It was just long enough for us to get attached to him. Roger, he stopped working and stayed with the baby every day. You have no idea what it's like to know that your child is going to die and there's nothing you can do about it. Then when it finally happened, Roger's personality changed. He started drinking a lot. He started yelling at me for any stupid thing. And he never even wanted to try to have another baby because he was afraid the same thing was going to happen. Right up until the day he died, he made me feel guilty for something I had no control over. He wanted a son so badly. That's why he loved his nephew so much. But my biggest hurt, he didn't love me no more.
You are so wrong. Because of the Cupid arrow story, I know he loved you.
He actually said Cupid's arrow. That don't sound like Roger.
Well, he was a romantic guy.
How do you know that?
Well, I figured he must be. Otherwise, instead of telling me it was caused by Cupid's arrow, he could have said it was caused by love at first sight. The first sight of blood, that is. He had such a great sense of humor.
You know, when we first met, he did have a good sense of humor. Yeah. So, how are your tenants doing with all this COVID business? I know all mine have been vaccinated and boosted. You know, that nice couple, Sam and Julia below me, are both working from home. I can tell it's getting to them because I can hear them fighting sometimes. You know, it's too bad they can't have children. She told me they have been trying and even went to a specialist. No luck. They would make great parents. I told them to adopt or at least become foster parents. She said she was okay with it, but that her husband, not so sure. And then I have Gino on the first floor. He hardly ever leaves the apartment. But I hear and I see people coming and going all times of the day and of the night. I don't know for what. Well, maybe it's just to keep him company.
Well, does he live alone?
Nah, but none of the people stay very long. I have no idea what they do down there because a few times when his windows were open and I was working in my little garden in the back, I heard what sounded like strange chanting. It's none of my business, and as long as he respects the property and he pays the rent, I don't ask questions. What about your place?
Nothing new. All of mine got all their COVID shots, too. That writer, Pietro, below me, still, all day, every day, typing, playing opera, and making either spaghetti sauce with clams or beef stroganoff.
How is Pietro? He played bocce with my Roger. Roger thought that Pietro was a genius and many times told me he wished he could write like him. He would always tell Pietro that when they all came over for beer and pizza and bocce. One night, I had to tell Roger, who had one too many, to stop because I could tell it was embarrassing Pietro in front of the other guys.
How could you tell that?
Because Pietro suddenly said he had to leave and never played bocce with them again.
Well, how did Roger take that? I know, he was a sensitive, caring guy. I could tell that from the way he reacted to Johnny's sickness that day, at school.
He said it didn't bother him because he said that Pietro was like an absent-minded professor. But I could tell he took it bad. I know he wished he could have an education like Pietro instead of having to go to work to support his family. I think Pietro missed him too because he looked really sad at Roger's funeral. Let's talk about something else. Tell me about your other tenants.
On the first floor, I still have Maria, who does something in the diplomatic service, and her girlfriend Giselle, the opera star. They're both very nice ladies when they're sober. But every night, they invite Pietro down for cocktails. He brings the food, and Giselle sings the arias. Oh, it's a scene.
Do they ever invite you?
No, always. I only went once. That was enough.
Why? What happened?
Everything was fine until the cocktail hour turned into cocktail hours, and Pietro started reading from his latest work, which was all about war and sex, education and sex, religion and sex, and sex, and sex. And they were long paragraphs, unending sentences. Well, to stop him, I suggested Maria play some music. She went to the piano and started playing Nessun Dorma from Puccini's Turn It Out. Well, that got Nozelle all wound up, and she stood on the dining room table and started singing. Oh, it turned out that Nessun Dorma, which means no one was sleeping, was a very appropriate choice because she started singing so loudly that no one could even hear themselves think, let alone sleep. And as if that wasn't bad enough, to top it all off, she walked to one end of the table, tipped it over, knocked over the whole huge bowl of beef stroganoff onto the floor, splashed all over my beautiful dress. They all started laughing, and, well, I just left. Oh. I said I was just going to change, but I never went back down.
Oh, God, that was some dinner party. I would love to have been a fly on the wall that night. Nothing exciting ever happens here. But I do think Gino on the first floor is up to some shady business.
Because of the chanting you've heard?
Yeah, that. And because of the looks of the people I see coming and going from his place, they seem sad.
What do you mean?
They dress and act like people you see going to a wake or a funeral. A couple of the women are crying.
Are they all like that?
Most of them, but not all. In fact, one day I saw Pietro going to visit him.
Pietro? Well, I didn't know they were friends. But they were both born in Italy. Maybe they came from the same town.
Maybe. But the other weird thing is that everyone goes in the front door, but they always leave out the back door. And it always takes them a while before they walk around from under the porch. I can't see under the porch from my window, so I don't know what they do before they walk away.
Wait a minute. From my pantry window, I can see his back door. Yeah. Here's what you do. Signal me when they come, and I will keep an eye out and try to see them leave, and then I will let you know. Maybe it'll be something we can write about in our diaries.
You think so? Hey, these diaries, how much have you already written in them?
Oh, I only wrote in one, and I told you. I stopped writing, years ago. So, now, we each have a blank book to start putting down our experiences for our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren to read all about.
We don't have any children.
Well, you're right. But for me, taking care of all of my students over the years, well, that's kind of been like taking care of my children. And you have nephews and nieces. Speaking of which, my niece Anne and her husband Phil, I don't think you've ever met them. Well, they've been foster parents for about, 16, 17 years to this lovely boy, Joseph. I found him for them when a coworker of mine had to give him up. Phil's work is now forcing them to move to the West Coast, and they don't want to take Joseph away from the school and the friends that he's loved so much. So, I'm thinking maybe we can work something out with that lovely couple of yours downstairs. I mean, I know the boy very well. He's a sweetheart, and he's very smart. No, the head of the foster agency, Marilyn Grafton, she graduated from the school I work at. And, I treated her a number of times, and she and her parents became very good friends of mine. Maybe I can facilitate the process.
Maybe. It'd be worth a try.
Well, I will look right into it, right before they make any plans with anyone else. See? We already have a lot to start writing about. So, what do you say?
Okay, I'll give it a shot. All right, I got my book. Now, which one have I got? Or are they all the same?
Oh, they're identical. So just put your name on the inside cover as soon as you can.
You know I'm not that good at writing. I only went to high school and then I started working at the sewing factory.
Don't worry about it. Just write down everything that catches your attention. It doesn't have to be about the virus. And at the end of each day, you send your diary over to me, and I will send mine, and the next day, we can talk about what we sent each other.
Okay.
Hey, feeling any better today?
Oh, Yeah, I slept pretty good last night after eating that minestrone soup you sent over. My taste is coming back. In fact, I got a craving for the stuffed shell, so I'm making some now, and I'll send some over to you.
Oh, I love the way you make that. Thanks. I haven't got much time this morning. I have a lot I want to do, but I have some news for you.
What's that?
I got the lowdown on your tenant Gino. Oh, wait till you hear this. You're not going to believe it.
Go on, I'm dying to know what's up with him.
What do you know about the evil eye?
The evil eye. My grandmother used to tell us about that. It's a curse that one person can give another, and it can bring them bad luck. In fact, she made us all wear, like these little horns to help protect us from it.
What is it?
It's a little red horn. See, I wear it right here, right next to my crucifix. Why are you asking about the evil eye?
Okay. Well, because I am learning a lot about it from Pietro.
Pietro? How come?
Because I wanted to find out why he went to see Gino. I asked him to come up to my apartment so I could give him some masks and some gloves. Well, when he came up, I asked him to stay for coffee and cake, and we started to talk.
How did you bring up Gino?
I told him I wanted to pass out some of the masks and gloves to our neighbors, and I asked him if he knew when Gino would be home. And he started talking about him.
That was smart thinking. So, what did he say?
First of all, do you know how you can get rid of the evil eye once you get it?
I remember my grandmother used to tell us you need to see someone who was the seventh son or daughter of a seventh son or daughter, because they are blessed with the power to remove the curse from you. But she told me they're hard to find. Of course, how many can there be? Why are you asking? What does this have to do with Gino?
Wait till you hear this.
What?
Pietro went to visit Gino because he's having a hard time writing, and he wanted to know if it was because a jealous person gave him that evil eye curse by complimenting him on his work. He said that that's how you get it. That he knows that because, well, like you, that his Italian grandmother told him about it.
He is right. Someone can give it to you through a compliment. So what happened?
Pietro was getting desperate, and he thought maybe Gino had some ideas where he could find someone to help him. That's when Gino told him that he was the seventh son of a seventh son. Can you believe it?
That is crazy. So what happened next?
Gino told him the first thing is that they have to find out if Pietro had the evil eye.
Well, how do you do that?
He asked Pietro to slowly drip some olive oil into a container of water, and if the olive oil drops float up and they coalesce into the shape of an eye, you have the curse.
I remember that now, yeah.
Yeah, well, Pietro's olive oil drops formed an eye.
So that's what goes on downstairs. But why do people who visit Gino go in the front door and leave out in the back? And what's with the delay of walking away from the house?
I found that out too. Pietro told me that when he asked Gino to cure him of this curse, Gino prayed over him, and he laid his hands over Pietro's head. But before he prayed over him, Gino went out into the garden, got a pot filled with dirt, and he took out an earthworm and placed the earthworm on a paper plate in front of Pietro. And then Gino asked Pietro to go out into the garden and bury the worm before leaving the property. He told him that that was an important part of the cure. Do you believe it?
I do, because I barely remember my grandmother saying something about how some of the healers use an earthworm to bury the curse once it's removed from them. To tell you the truth, it always seemed like a fairy tale to me. You must have been shocked.
I was flabbergasted. I tried to stay calm when he and I were talking, but inside I couldn't wait to tell you. Here, you were accusing Gino of being involved in some kind of mysterious business, and all the time, he's one of a rare group of people who can get rid of the evil eye.
I don't know what to say.
No, you don't say anything, because this is so unusual. What you do is you write it down in your diary, just like I told you.
I mean, it is unusual, no question about that. And I am going to write it down. But what about you? Are you going to write it down too?
Me? No. You know much more about this stuff than I do. So it's better that you write about it. What I'm going to write about is how Pietro thinks he got the evil eye.
Did he tell ya?
Well, not yet. But I've invited him for lunch. That's one of the reasons I have to rush, because I'm going to see how much I can find out. He did tell me that Gino told him that the power to give the evil eye is not some supernatural power that only chosen people can possess, but it's a power possessed by ordinary people, and that others who are very jealous of a person's success, possessions, or looks, that's how they can give it to somebody. They said that's why you won't ever hear from an Italian that everything in their life is perfect, even if it is. They don't want to attract unnecessary jealousy. You're Italian, don't you know that?
Oh, the part about never bragging, definitely true. Even as a kid, I remember my grandmother all the time telling us to never show off. She said we should be satisfied with what we had and not be jealous of what anybody else had. Those things were against God's will, and he'd punish you for it. She never said it could give somebody, though, the evil eye.
Well, from the way that Pietro was talking, I'm pretty sure he knows who gave it to him. But he changed the subject when I asked him. If I find out when he comes for lunch, I'll let you know.
That would be good to know, so we can stay away from that person. I was also thinking what you said about maybe being able to help that nice couple below me, Sam and Julia. Anything new?
Well, I am going to make some inquiries about that this very afternoon, and well, I should know more about it tomorrow when we talk.
All right. Okay, I got to run too. The water for my macaroni is boiling. You know, I think I'll bring some of the stuffed shells downstairs to both the couple and to Gino. I'll let you know if I find out anything.
Great. We'll talk tomorrow. Now, you start writing in your diary tonight. I'm going to write in mine too, and we'll swap them tomorrow morning to see if there's anything new, that one of us might have forgotten. Okay.
Yeah, hold on a minute. I was just writing down a recipe.
You're writing a recipe in there?
Yeah.
Well, does that have to do with what we were talking about yesterday?
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Wait till I tell you. Like I said, I went down to give Gino and some of my macaroni, while we were talking. All right, it turns out his family, like mine, is from Naples. Yeah. One thing led to another, and we found out that both of our grandfathers worked in the bakery, and maybe were bakers, and maybe they even worked in the same bakery. I couldn't believe it.
What a coincidence! But what did you learn about the evil eye, and what's with the recipe?
Hold on, I'm coming to that. All this time, I never said much to him because, he always kept to himself. So I thought he was a loner. But he is a really nice guy. Soft-spoken, intelligent. He's good looking, too.
Interesting. But I'm still waiting to hear what you found out.
I'm getting to it. He made me a cup of coffee, and we started talking about the neighborhood. He talked about the couple above him and the next-door neighbors in your building. And then he started talking about Pietro. And I told him I came to visit him a couple of times, and right away, just like that, he thought I already knew, and he told me why Pietro came to see him.
You're kidding.
I swear on my Roger's grave. He told me that because he was the seventh son, and his father was the seventh son. People believed he could help them, but everybody's problems got to be too much for him. So he had to get away, so he joined the army. When he was discharged, he moved here. Nobody knew him.
But how did people around here find out about him?
Yeah, a buddy he was in the army with lives a couple of streets away, and they stayed in touch. I guess this buddy got promoted over some people who thought that they had priority. And this guy started to develop a lot of problems. He couldn't hold a job. He couldn't stay in a relationship. He confided in Gino, and Gino felt sorry for him and suggested that maybe someone had given him the evil eye. He did the test. Sure enough, he had the curse, and Gino cured him. Since then, the news somehow got around, and he's busy, but he's very selective and seems to be handling it okay.
That is some story. But what about the recipe?
When I brought him the stuffed shells, he was making what he said was the most famous dish from Naples, pasta alla Norma. I had some and loved it. So he gave me the recipe. It's made it with eggplant and sauce and regatta salt. Oh, simple, but absolutely delicious. I wanted to share it with anybody reading my diary.
Great idea. But do you know why it's called Norma?
Yeah, he told me it's named after Bellini's opera Norma. Some playwright at the time thought they were equally beautiful. He knows a lot about Italian history, and he loves to cook. In fact, he's coming over tonight for my chicken parmesan.
Oh, sounds like you two are hitting it off. Nice. Very nice. Now, I have some news for you. It's about that nice couple below you.
Sam and Julia. I also brought them some of the shells and mentioned there might be a possibility of being able to foster a boy you knew and well and highly recommended, but that you would be able to pull some strings.
How did they react?
Oh, they were excited to learn more, especially when I told them you were related to the present foster parents, that you like the boy so much.
Excellent. Well, I made an appointment to see Marilyn Grafton. You know that former student of mine that I told you about? She heads the foster agency. She loved the fact that I could personally recommend Sam and Julia and the fact that I lived so close to them. She said she would start the process as soon as she got the go-ahead from the couple. I mean, the process for approval to become a foster parent will involve 5 or 6 visits to their home over a period of like a 10 to 12 week period. And they conduct interviews with both parents. They do a home safety inspection. They explain the responsibilities of foster parenting. I also found out if the child has no relatives to adopt them, then the current foster family will be usually the first choice for an adoptive family. Now, do you think Sam and Julia will be okay with all of that?
I'll go down this morning and get back to you, but I'm sure they will want to start right away. I can't believe you did that so fast. This must be really important to you.
It is. I visit my niece Anne all the time, and I've gotten very close to Joseph. I want him to have an excellent life. Well, and the selfish thing is, and I admit, the fact that, he'll be living so close to me.
The world would be a much better place if we had more of that kind of selfish. Do you think it's a good idea to have Gino check and see if Sam and Julia can have a baby on their own? Because both of them might have the evil eye?
No, not now. One thing at a time. Let's try and get them the foster parent situation first, and then we'll see. I think it would be too much for them to handle right now.
Yeah, that's enough for them to think about without the evil eye. But speaking of the evil eye, you said you were going to try to find out who gave Pietro the curse. Did you have lunch with them like you said?
I did, and I have to tell you, he's a real gentleman. I don't know what I expected from what I saw that one drunken night downstairs at Maria's, but I can tell you, he is wonderful company. Oh, and he's such a handsome man.
If I didn't know you so many years, I think I was hearing a bit of flirting.
You're just talking foolish. It's just that I was surprised. All this time, I'm thinking he's just a mad Italian bachelor, only concerned about writing another bestseller. But I found out he's so much more than that. He's a great cook, a great conversationalist, and he's not a bachelor. He's a widower. That story is a heartbreak.
Really? What happened?
He sold the movie rights to his book with the provision that he participate in the movie production as a consultant to the scriptwriter and the casting director. Well, they'd screened a number of leading lady potentials with no luck. So one day, oh, you're going to love this. They're having lunch with the director in a small trattoria across from the studio, and he was complaining that none of the women auditioning had that combination of natural beauty and fiery temperament that he was looking for, that defined his character. Suddenly, he heard a voice from the kitchen dressing down some member of the staff. The tone of her voice was exactly what he was looking for, and he went into the kitchen and he saw this statuesque, olive-skinned, raven-haired beauty in a marinara-stained apron waving a wooden spoon around, and he cast her right on the spot. Well, and at the same time, he fell in love right on the same spot. 1 year later, she got a golden Oscar and a golden wedding ring.
That has to go into your diary. What a great story. But what happened to her?
Cancer. Aggressive, untreatable. It killed her, and it destroyed him. The grief, it's still there. He broke out in tears when he told me, and I had to hold him and comfort him down.
Does he think that it was part of the curse?
I don't think so, because he said he was sure that he got it later, and he's pretty sure he knows who gave it to him.
Did he tell you who it was?
He said it would do no good to say. I asked why. He said maybe sometime. And then he changed the subject to his love of cooking, and he invited me to dinner tonight. I asked him about what his nightly visits to Maria and Giselle, if they were still going on. And he sweetly said that it would be more fun to have a quiet evening, just he and I.
This is getting crazy. I'm finding out what a nice guy Gino is, and you're finding out the same thing about Pietro. And all this time, we was thinking they was losers.
I'm beginning to think all this time we were the losers. That was some birthday party. Joseph was completely surprised. Everyone had such a great time.
They ate all the food. The kids devoured the cake, and later when they went to bed, I had to go send Gino out to get more wine. I mean, I thought I bought plenty. It got crazy with Giselle singing and drunken Pietro reading poetry. I loved it. You should see this place this morning. Dishes, glasses, half-eaten casserole. By the way, why are you whispering? Who? Ah, yeah. Now I remember. You left with Pietro last night.
And when we left, Gino was the only one over there with you.
Oh, he is so thoughtful. He insisted on staying to help me clean up.
Really? Well, he has a strange way of cleaning up, because you said that your place was a mess, which would usually drive you crazy. But you have a big smile on your face. Maybe Gino prayed over you last night.
All I can say is, if I had the evil eye before the party, I don't know more.
Oh, who would believe it? 6 months ago, we were like two aging biddies complaining about everything and everybody, and now we're like two infatuated schoolgirls. We're enjoying the company of Gino and Pietro. Oh, and we have that beautiful young man, Joseph, in our life to listen and laugh with.
I know. I keep pinching myself.
I bet Gino does, too.
Oh, Hey, speaking of Joseph, Sam and Julia are going to go to the city tonight for their anniversary, and asked if, Joseph could stay here because they don't want him to have no wild party. You know how teenagers are. So, of course, I said yes. But then last night, Gino tells me one of his clients is playing in some musical in town and gave him 2 house tickets. So, can Joseph stay with you tonight?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I love having him come with me. Oh, I'll make him that chicken parm and those French fries that he likes, and I always keep a supply of those chocolate chip cookies that he loves in the freezer.
Great. And I really got to get started on straightening out this place before the Board of Health closes me up.
By the way, your diary is reading like a bestseller. I mean, I can't wait till you describe the religious experience you had last night.
Oh, and you too. I'm sure Pietro read you some interesting passages that night. Good thing there ain't no censors reading those passages.
Well, if there were, I'm sure every one of them would be begging to rent one of our apartments.
You're right. Well, I'll go work on my diary this afternoon and send it over before Gino and I go to the musical.
Okay, I'll do the same. You have a great evening, because I know Joseph and I will.
What took you so long?
I was in the bathroom.
I sent you back your diary. It's your personal one. Your very personal one.
I know. Last night I was busy cooking dinner for Joseph, so I asked him to send my diary over to you with the stuff I wrote yesterday, and he put the wrong one. He put the wrong one in. They look identical. Did you read it?
I read enough of it. Did Pietro ever tell you who he thinks gave him the evil eye?
He still doesn't want to tell me.
Well, I know. Gino told me that Pietro thinks my Roger gave it to him because he was so jealous of the way he could write.
Roger, I can't believe that he would do that.
That's what I said. But Gino told me he talked with Roger a few times about Pietro, came to see him, and he found out that Roger did a lot of things. Gino didn't tell me everything because he could see how upset it made me. Gino could see that I was hurt and I was upset, and he was able to calm me down.
Well, hearing all of that, well, it had to be so difficult for you.
You never know, do you? Just when I thought I was be able to move away from the old things that hurt me, something new comes along. Something that, without Gino, it would have made me crazy. But he reminds me that nothing can change the past, and dragging it all back into the future is a waste of a life. He keeps telling me to stay focused on that.
And that takes so much energy.
It takes a lot of love. All kinds of love. Not just what I found out with Gino, but friendship. And how close we become with Joseph.
Oh, he's such a joy, a real gift.
He is a wonderful boy. Look, I didn't sleep well last night, and I'm very tired. I don't feel like talking today.
I'm sorry. Are you feeling all right? You don't feel sick, do you? Is there anything I can do?
Yeah. There's something I need to ask you.
What's that?
Remember when you took that year off a while back? You said you had to do some studies or something? How long ago was that?
I don't. This maybe 17 years ago. Why are you asking?
17 years. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm asking because I was just wondering if before you left, did Roger tell you that the name of the boy that we lost was Joseph?
That was a long time ago, Celia. I don't remember.
You don't remember. Look, I'm tired. I don't want to talk anymore.
Well, we'll talk tomorrow. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. We'll talk tomorrow.